Archena from India predicted, in 2026, only 7 zodiac signs will receive great wealth. A powerful shift in financial flows is already taking shape, and it brings sharp growth only for the chosen ones. The Indian clairvoyant Archena stated, in 2026, only 7 zodiac signs will receive wealth so vast that it is able to determine their entire future path. These are not symbolic changes. These are not subtle hints of fate. This is a direct impulse to real growth, large sums, new opportunities, sudden breakthroughs, and financial solutions that change the rules of the game. Today you will hear which signs fall into this circle of the chosen ones and why they will open the door to big money. Each of them will have their own scenario for growth, concrete, tangible, and one that leaves no room for doubt. Before we continue, write your sign in the comments. I'll see if you are among these 7. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single one of the strong predictions that will help you take advantage of the chance when it appears. Aries. Aries enters a period where financial power forms not by chance, but through the ability to act faster and deeper than others. The year reveals a pattern of sharp strengthening of influence based on Aries' personal ability to create solutions where others see obstacles. Aries stops reacting, he starts setting the rules. This change becomes the origin point of large capital, which grows through systematic accumulation rather than emotional spending. He notices patterns in markets, partners, and competitors. Instead of reacting to crisis, Aries sees the growth zone first. The year opens for Aries a transition from chaotic moneymaking to systematic accumulation. He manages financial flows with the precision of a person who has understood the value of every decision. Instead of hasty choices come strategic steps that create a scaling effect. Aries forms a new type of confidence, not impulsive, but rational. It is based on the ability to predict consequences, assess risks, and make decisions that increase potential. He approaches finances not as a source of stress, but as a system he can control. This control creates a powerful foundation that enhances stability and allows him to scale income. For Aries, the year becomes a time when every step has value. The path to great wealth is not accidental, it is logical, consistent, and completely controlled. Taurus. Taurus in 2026 will enter a period where financial strength focuses sharply around his decisions, and each month brings new impetus for growth. From September onward, his ability to control resources strengthens to such an extent that any project he starts gains stability even before becoming profitable. September will be the month of the first major breakthrough, when Taurus takes a step he previously considered too bold, and it opens the way to significant financial growth. October is when Taurus stops accepting restrictive conditions. He reformats his approach to work and income so that every action brings multiple results. In November, Taurus gets the opportunity to take a position that gives him direct access to larger-scale resources. A new role, a new partner, a new type of responsibility, each option is aimed at capital accumulation. He feels he has enough strength to manage flows that previously seemed unattainable. By the second half of the year, Taurus begins receiving proposals previously unattainable due to scale or responsibility. His durability becomes a strategic weapon. The stability he has been building for months begins to have a multiplying effect. Income becomes predictable, and money starts generating money. December will end the year with Taurus standing at the top of a financial system he has built with consistency, intelligence, and the ability to work even when others withdraw. Big money ceases to be a goal, it becomes a tool for new opportunities just beginning to reveal themselves. Gemini. In 2026, Gemini enters a period where events that long remained scattered finally gather into a whole financial structure. Their intellectual flexibility becomes a material tool, giving them the chance to react faster to changes and stay ahead of competitors by reading trends more precisely than others. September brings a fundamental decision for their material growth. They stop choosing between security and ambition, they unite these two concepts into one system. October reveals their ability to work with high volumes of information, giving them an unexpected advantage. The first serious opportunity appears, and Gemini seizes it without hesitation. In November, communication power begins to affect financial processes. They form partnerships that open access to resources unreachable in previous years. Their words, decisions, and strategic proposals gain weight, and this weight affects material results. By mid-year, a stable source of income forms, one Gemini had long thought about but never dared to realize. They stop perceiving finances as something requiring constant involvement and start building models capable of bringing stable profit even without their direct participation. October brings a deal that changes their financial category, the direct result of everything built earlier in the year. December will be the month Gemini receives confirmation of their financial competence, with all the tools to enter the next stage at a level of material confidence that matches people who shape their own economic reality. Cancer. Cancer in 2026 enters a stage where internal resilience becomes a financial instrument capable of significantly changing his material condition. Previous doubts begin losing their power, replaced by determination that has long been ripening. In September, Cancer feels the need to give up old earning schemes. Models that previously yielded minimal results have become redundant and slow down development. He declares internally that he is ready for great growth, and this readiness triggers a chain reaction of new opportunities. October opens access to resources previously inaccessible due to external restrictions. He makes decisions from a position of strength, not fear. His ability to read people's motivations becomes an important tool. He determines who to work with and who to avoid so as not to lose pace. July brings dynamics that strongly affect his material condition. He receives suggestions or information opening access to profitable solutions. Cancer can make a deal or start a project that becomes one of the most profitable in his life. His caution stops being a weakness, it becomes a tool for accurate analysis. By December, Cancer stands on the threshold of a new financial milestone significantly larger than anything he has experienced. He realizes he is no longer searching for stability, he creates it. Leo in 2026 enters a period where financial strength stops being potential and begins manifesting sharply, concretely, and tangibly. Events that were blurred in uncertainty now align into a consistent growth trajectory. Leo stops reacting to external factors, he sets the pace himself. His decisions seem bold, but they become key to shaping his material rise. September is the month of giving up small forms. Leo refuses compromises that reduce his potential and chooses only directions capable of producing great results. October opens opportunities to expand his sphere of influence, new contacts, circles previously unreachable. His word becomes heavier, his presence strategic. He doesn't compete, he rules. He decides who to work with and which suggestions to accept or reject. July becomes the month of financial breakthrough. Leo takes a step that changes his economic category and starts receiving offers like never before. He sits at the center of events, leading him to great wealth. By December, Leo realizes the limitations that hindered him before have disappeared. He stands on the threshold of a massive period where wealth becomes not a result of luck, but a direct result of the strength of his decisions, strategy, and character. Virgo. Virgo in 2026 enters a phase where her logic, endurance, and ability to work with complex processes transform into financial power on an entirely different level. Events develop rapidly and require not just accuracy, but strategic flexibility. She begins seeing hidden mechanisms of financial processes and predicts consequences with a depth that allows her to work several steps ahead. In September, she recognizes patterns in information flows that become the basis of her financial strategy. Money ceases being a resource to protect and becomes an element she can multiply. October brings clear understanding of the scale she can aspire to. She allows herself a risk that proves strategically correct. Her caution doesn't disappear, it takes on a new form, not fear of the unknown, but the ability to accurately assess consequences. In November, she takes a position bringing not only financial benefits, but control over processes previously outside her zone of influence. By mid-year, her competence becomes noticeable even to those who previously underestimated her. She creates systems capable of functioning regardless of external conditions. December finds Virgo realizing she no longer depends on external conditions. She controls her financial path, confidently moves toward massive enrichment, and shapes her future based on reasonable, professional decisions. Libra. Libra in 2026 enters a period where their usual balance becomes a strategic force shaping financial decisions with precision. Inner hesitations give way to clarity. They stop hiding their ambitions because they understand their ability to balance options isn't weakness, it's a tool that helps them choose the most advantageous financial decisions. In September, their analytical ability sharpens. They distinguish opportunities from illusions, choosing only directions that become sources of stable profit. October brings inner transformation. They stop dividing finances into complex and simple, and start seeing the structure uniting all processes into one system. November escalates the pace. Events develop faster than expected, requiring decisions without excessive reflection. Libra sees their influence has grown. They shape the rules of interaction with partners rather than adapting to them. Their diplomacy turns into economic advantage. By July, the second wave of growth opens. Their decisions affect significantly more people than before. They choose projects from a position of power, not need. October brings the opportunity to work with large sums. Financial flows move in their direction. December marks the end point of economic strengthening. Libra has built a foundation on which large-scale structures can stand. They enter the new period with full awareness that they possess everything necessary for the formation of great wealth. Scorpio. Scorpio in 2026 enters a period where the power he has long carried within begins manifesting in financial events so clearly that even the most stable structures around him change under his influence. His intuition, which previously served only as a guide, now becomes an accurate tool for financial analysis. What seemed safe before becomes ineffective, and directions he considered too risky reveal themselves as sources of future benefit. He allows himself to operate on a larger scale than planned. The beginning of an annual transformation. October pushes him into a risk zone, but his inner stability becomes a financial tool, giving him advantage over those who act impulsively. He makes a decision that seems too bold to others but is the logical continuation of his path. November brings his first significant economic victory. Events unfold as if he controls their course. By July, he sees the real material effect of his previous actions. The flow of opportunities widens, the scale becomes more serious. He makes a deal or starts a project that becomes a symbol of his transition to a new level of material influence. By December, Scorpio sees the culmination of the entire year. He stands before a structure created by his own decisions, powerful, stable, and oriented toward continued growth. He is no longer fighting for a place in the economic space, he forms his own financial scale. Sagittarius. Sagittarius in 2026 doesn't have to wait for changes, the changes themselves begin responding to his actions. From the first weeks, it becomes clear the space around him transforms under the power of his decisions. This is a sharp transition to entirely different dynamics, where every intention carries weight. His first decisions are less bold than they are accurate. He gives up the habit of acting on inspiration and begins working with absolute clarity about what to continue, what to complete, and what to start immediately. His logic, intuition, and ability to keep pace make him a center of attraction for new financial flows. July changes everything. Sagittarius remembers this month as the moment events first began working clearly for him. He gets what he has long deserved through his consistency. One contact, one conversation, one situation, and his possibilities become real. July activates a process now impossible to stop. September brings the most powerful strategic breakthrough. He works confidently, thoroughly, purposefully, without emotional tension. He manages processes that previously seemed too complex. His financial situation begins changing not locally, but globally. December ends the year on a note of victory, not an emotional feeling, but a fact confirmed by events, numbers, opportunities, and confidence. Sagittarius enters a stage where he becomes a bearer of force that forms the financial space around him. Capricorn. Capricorn in 2026 makes no noise, seeks no confirmations, and wastes no time on others' expectations. He acts as if he has long known the answers others are still trying to formulate. His internal logic becomes so structural and cold-blooded that every process under his influence acquires clear outlines. Capricorn doesn't wait for the right moment, he creates it himself. Instead of planning years ahead, he works with the precision of instant solutions that immediately produce results. The scale toward which he has been moving slowly and cautiously suddenly becomes accessible, not because the world changed, but because his internal strategy did. October pushes him to work on a larger scale, with information previously beyond his access. He stops thinking in terms of possible and switches to appropriate. His ability to work with long-term consequences becomes the key to success. July brings the breakthrough. He sees the result of his consistency, realizes an idea long held as merely a concept, and gains access to resources previously inaccessible. He moves into the category of people who build their own economic space. November opens the most powerful flow of the year, access to resources others only dream of. December brings absolute clarity. He enters the next stage not as a person striving for wealth, but as one who forms it through logical, professional, and clear decisions. Aquarius. Aquarius won't have to wait for favorable conditions. In 2026, the environment itself reacts to his thoughts, decisions, and way of action. His path doesn't resemble smooth forward movement, it's a constant expansion of influence as the space adapts to his intellectual trajectory. His ability to predict events becomes extremely accurate. Where others rely on experience or intuition, he works with logic that outpaces time. He rejects ideas without potential and focuses on areas capable of bringing significant resources. He doesn't behave as others expect, his style becomes unexpectedly direct, almost sharp at crucial moments. The need to please disappears forever. October opens access to information he couldn't fully use before. His thinking becomes multifaceted, he analyzes several scenarios simultaneously. He works not with small tasks, but with systems. He is no longer an executor, but the architect of situations. July shapes what he has built. He sees the first massive results. His influence becomes noticeable even without him striving for display. His strategy works better than he expected. By October, Aquarius operates on a large scale boldly and without doubts. His determination becomes a professional standard. December ends the year with the realization that his intellect, independence, and professional strategy have formed a real force. He doesn't work within the system, he creates the system. Material possibilities have become a logical extension of his style of life, thinking, and action. Pisces. In 2026, Pisces won't have to stir up events for long or convince anyone of their intentions. What they do will be perceived by others as natural forward movement. Their inner depth and professional instinct immediately become a force that structures the financial processes around them. From the first weeks, Pisces demonstrate the ability to think wider than the environment requires. They don't chase opportunities, they see them before they form. They terminate directions that no longer have potential without regret. Their decisions look restrained from the outside but carry extreme influence inside. Their intuition turns into a professional method. They predict the behavior of partners, market reactions, and changes in their fields. October opens significantly larger opportunities. They don't beg for access, they create it. They enter new professional environments where every decision has weight. By July, they see their first wave of rise. Everything done with cool precision over the previous months starts yielding results. A key project strengthens their position or expands access to large financial resources. October becomes the month of strategic power. They see the financial map as a whole and take a step that moves them into an entirely new economic category. December ends the year with the realization that their strength lies in the combination of depth, accuracy, and the ability to see what's invisible to others. Their financial path is built by themselves, not by circumstances. 2026 becomes the point from which a long period of material strength, stability, and confidence begins. These 7 chosen signs, and indeed all 12, are now standing at the threshold of a year that rewards clarity, discipline, and the courage to act. Tell me in the comments which sign you are. Did Archena's prediction reach you? Subscribe so you don't miss the next powerful forecast, because the strongest opportunities of 2026 are only beginning to reveal themselves.